So you're knitting along and you realize that you have dropped a couple of stitches in your knitting. So I'm going to show you how you fix that without panicking. If you notice here, you've got a stitch here and you've got a stitch here. Now some folks like to take a locking stitch marker and catch those, but I've only dropped a few rows down here, so I don't think that that's going to be necessary for this. So what you do to pick up a drop stitch when you're knitting in stockinette stitch is you knit over to the point where the stitch is supposed to be, which in this case is right after this stitch. Okay, and then you take a crochet hook, and this is a size F crochet hook that I'm using today, and you grab that stitch, go through this stitch right here. You might have to pull a little bit. Don't worry about that. Okay, make sure you get the whole yarn. And then see these ladders? That's where the stitch is supposed to be. You just take your crochet hook and grab that ladder and pull it through the stitch. Now it's going to be a little tight. Just give it a little tug and pick it up all the way up and then put it back on the needle. And make sure when you put it back on the needle that you put it on the right way so that the stitch mount, so the leaning leg is on the left, on the front. I'll repeat that. I'm going to knit back over to my next one here, which is right here. The same process. Get that stitch picked up with your crochet hook. Make sure you find the first ladder because that's where the stitch goes. Whoops, I didn't catch that ladder completely. Make sure you don't split the yarn. And you just crochet that stitch back where it's supposed to be. Get it back on the needle. Kind of reorient it here. And that's how you pick up drop stitches in stockinette stitch. And see, it's a little tight, but that'll even out with blocking. Don't need to worry about it. Problem solved. To fix a drop stitch in garter stitch, you need to remember that you have knit rows on both the front and the back, which results in bumps on the front of your work when you knit the row on the back side of the work. So you have to keep track of where you are, and you have to figure out where you are in this garter stitch pattern. And if I look at this drop stitch where it is right now, it's a knit stitch. You can tell because there's the knit. So the next stitch will need to have a purl bump on the front side. So in order to do that, you need to have the loop, the ladder, in front of the stitch. You need to go in with your crochet hook from the front back to the front, grab that ladder and pull it through. Now when you do that, you're in position to do the next stitch just like you do for stockinette. because the next one would be a knit stitch on the front side. And I keep trying to split my yarn here, but that's how, there's my next knit stitch. So this next one is a knit on the back, so I need a bump on the front. So pull the ladder in front of the stitch, go in from the back all the way through, grab your ladder and pull it through. And then the next stitch is a knit stitch on the right side. And then we need to repeat the same process again to get the bump on the front. And there we go, all picked up. And we're ready to knit across. And that's how you fix drop stitches in garter stitch.